Getresponse is about so much more than just email marketing. The average person doesn't scratch below the surface of what Getresponse has to offer. They see all the other things as being far too complicated for them to use. Make sure you're not one of these people. Using all the tools available at Getresponse is vital to ensuring that you're able to turn a profit. My step-by-step video series will teach you everything you need to know about how to use Getresponse. Getresponse is one of those services that we love. It helps us make money every day. We'll show you all the tips and tricks that we've learned along the way. It's not as difficult as you may like to believe. So let me help you accelerate your success today.
Hello and welcome. You are now looking at the email marketing platform Getresponse. And while Getresponse does traditional email marketing, including autoresponders and broadcast emails, it also focuses on landing pages, marketing automation, and webinars. And in this course, we will focus on the setup of your email marketing campaigns. We'll also discuss integrations that make using Getresponse easier, as well as an introduction to workflows, which is Getresponse's automation system. We'll look at one of its main integrations, which is the landing page creation system, as well as its webinar system. Now, Getresponse is designed to be flexible enough for both business as well as other professional industries. And we'll look at applying it just as other organizations do, even though we'll primarily be focused on business. So in the next video, we'll focus on pricing and then signing up for our Getresponse account. Welcome back. Now, Getresponse has a free trial offer for 30 days. And that free trial offer will start at the account level that you determine you need for your business. And so what you'll do when you come to getresponse.com is you'll go to the pricing area. And then you'll need to select the range that you want to start with. Now, each level has a base in terms of number of subscribers that you'll start with. And Getresponse will give you a counter where you can determine based on your list size where you'll be paying. So for example, if you wanted to start at the pro level, the base number of subscribers is 5,000. However, if you were to raise that level to 10,000, then your base level would go up to $75 monthly. And you'd see the same basic arrangement with the email version, which is one step below. So the higher you go in terms of number of subscribers, the less the cost difference will be between email and pro. So logically, the best place to start would be choosing the pro package. Choosing the pro package will allow you to have webinars when you wouldn't be able to have it with the email system. And it'll also give you more options when it comes to workflows and marketing automation. You'll also notice that you can have 2 other team members work with you if you have the pro package. Of course, you'll pay less if you choose to pay by a 12-month subscription or a 24-month subscription. We're going to start with a monthly subscription, and then we're going to start our free trial. We're going to start it at the lowest number of leads available, and we are going to click this link that says try 1 month free with no credit card. So to start your free trial, you'll write in your name, email, and a password. Now, once you create your account, you'll be asked to activate your account inside of your email. And inside of your inbox, you'll see your email. You'll want to click the link that says Activate My Account. You'll then be asked to complete an account setup. And once you do that, your Getresponse account will be ready for use. Welcome back. Now, before you start the creation process, one thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to look at your settings. You can do that by going to this area that says Manage Your Account. There are 2 things in particular that you want to pay attention to. The first is going to be the domains, and we'll take a closer look at domains when we begin to create landing pages that we're going to host on Getresponse. But the other thing you're going to want to look carefully through is going to be your Getresponse badge. Now, because we're working with a trial, we will not be able to deactivate our Getresponse badge, but the Getresponse badge appears at the bottom of all of Getresponse emails when they go out. And so this is something that you may or may want to have turned off if you think it interferes with your branding and it interferes with your message. Now, the good thing about the badge is that if someone clicks on the link or clicks on the badge, they go to Getresponse, they decide that they're going to get a Getresponse account, then you'll be given a $30 credit for their signing up. And finally, you can create GDPR fields. If you go to the bottom link and you click Create a Field, you can have these fields appear inside of your email. So for example, if you wanted to create a field for privacy policy, specifically with application to the GDPR, you can write in this field, and then Getresponse gives you can write that privacy policy information in this field or anything that you want to place in here for your GDPR compliance. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now, in order to get started with Getresponse right away, you're going to want to create a list in order to start capturing names and emails. So the first thing you're going to do is to go to the contact section. When you see the contact section, what you're going to do is you're going to click this button that says Create List. You're going to give your list a name. Now that list needs to be all one word, all lowercase. Once you do that, you'll then click Create. When you do that, you are going to have list settings. So you're going to want to go to this area and click Settings. Now, the first thing you're going to do is give your list a title and description. Once you've written in your description, you can then choose a specific category. You're then going to keep scrolling down. You're going to write in the name of your company or organization, as well as the address, city, and zip. Getresponse will allow you to place your logo. This is something that your customers are going to see, in particular when they go to change their details and look at details about their list sign up. Then if you want that image to be clickable, you can place a website address in this area. And then you can copy down your feed URL, which will have everything with respect to this list. We're now going to click General Settings. You'll then need to look at your specific list settings with respect to subscriptions. You can send all of your subscription notifications to one email, which you will designate. You can also determine whether you're going to have those that are added to your email marketing list to confirm their subscription if they come through a web subscription or if they come through API. You can determine that here in this area. So for example, what we're going to do with this particular list is we're going to say that if the individuals come through a web subscription, we're going to want to require them to have a double opt-in confirmation. However, if they come through an API, and more than likely if they come through an API, they'll be connected to your account through some particular kind of sale or closing. So you'll typically not want to have these individuals opt in again. Now there may be cases where that will be the case, but typically this is going to be the connection to your after sale autoresponder. You can then determine what that confirmation page is going to look like. You can either have a custom URL at your designation, or you can use the Getresponse confirmation page. If you want to preview that page, you can click this link. Getresponse will also allow you to see what individuals are going to see when they attempt to unsubscribe, and you'll see that here. You'll also get a chance to see an unsubscribe success page. You can preview that also. And then you can choose to have all of the emails that you're going to be using with this list to appear inside of a newsletter directory. So for example, if we click this preview button, individuals that come to this page, they can sign up for your list when this page is presented. And you can assist that process more by making sure that this page is going to be indexed in the search engine. Now we're going to stop the video right here, and then we're going to take a look at the settings for the confirmation message. Welcome back. We're now going to look at the next tab over from both general and subscription, and we're going to change the settings in the confirmation message. Now in Getresponse, you can choose to either have the format to be delivered to always be plain text, and this is actually the most conservative because in some cases you will have individuals who will only be able to receive plain text. And even if you send an HTML email, they would receive plain text, and you'd have to make sure that you had both plain and HTML messages created. So you can eliminate that by only sending plain text emails. However, recipients are typically expecting to see HTML, which is a cleaner format. You're then going to have the subject line for your confirmation email. Now you can change that subject line to something else that Getresponse has on file, and they have a number of choices that they have available, some of which even have personalization codes in them. You're then going to determine what your from address is going to be. Now it's important that you avoid using cloud-based email systems such as Gmail or Hotmail, and that you use your self-hosted email address with your specific domain name. And one other thing to note is that if you're going to be sending an email, and the links in that email are going to come from a specific domain, you'd want to make sure that your from address is going to have the same domain listed. Now when you create emails, you can have a default template always shown, or you can make sure that there's going to be a different default setting which you can choose from the set of templates that Getresponse makes available to you. You can also customize your confirmation message. And one of the things you'll note is that there is some boilerplate language inside of the message. And most users will not change this email, and so as a result, the confirmation email typically goes straight to spam. One of the ways that you can help to keep your confirmation message out of spam is to make sure you customize that message, and you can do that here in this area. Once you've completed all your changes to the confirmation message, you can then click this button, and that'll save all your changes. Welcome back. Now once you've created a list, you can then create a form so that you can place that form either on your website or use the web-based form to begin collecting names and email addresses. And so to do that, you're going to go to this space right here at the top, and you're going to click Forms and Surveys. You'll then scroll down and click this button that says Create Form. Now once you come to this page, you are going to be brought to a wizard that will help you to create an appropriate form for your niche or for your market. And you'll see a number of templates available here in this area, and you can choose the one that's going to be most appropriate. Now one thing that you can do is you can come down to the bottom and you can start with a blank template. And when you click on that blank template, you're going to be brought to this area, and then these are going to be templates that are going to be generic in nature, and they'll work so that you can create a transparent background to place them on any web page without changing the look of the page. And the most basic of form you'll see here. It's a blank form. It says you'll be able to type your headline. It'll collect the email address as well as the person's first name. We're going to click Use Template. And what we'll then be able to do is we'll be able to click inside of the headline, and we'll be able to change it for our particular market, product, or niche. Of course, we can then center our content. We can eliminate the help text. And you have three ways of customizing the form. You can add in fields. You can change the layout of the form. So for example, we can make the form wider if we want. And we can change the item spacing. We can also change the style of the form. So in this case, what we can do is we can change the background to one that's going to be transparent. And once we've made our customization, we can then click OK. And once we have the form in a manner in which we want it, we can also then create a thank you page. We can make our thank you page very similar. In this case, what we're going to do is go to the style area. We're also going to change this background to transparent. We're going to click OK. And then we can take our form and then we can save and publish the form. Once we get to the publication page, we have a couple of choices. We can take this code and place it on our website. If we have HTML code, this code will show the form we created, or we can have Getresponse host the form, and then we don't need to have a website. We can collect names and email addresses with this link. So if we copy this link and we go to our browser, and you can then see our web form. Welcome back. Now in this video, we're going to take the web form that was created and we're going to use the HTML code to add it to a website. And all we'll need to do is to go back into this website. We'll need to click on Edit Form. What we're going to do now is we're going to go up to Save and Publish. And then we're going to grab this JavaScript code. And so what we're going to do is we're going to copy this entire code. And then we're going to head over to our website. Now in this case, we're going to add the code to a WordPress website. And you can pick any post or page. You'll add a new post in this case. Then when we get to this place, what we're going to do is we're going to look for the HTML coding. We're going to click Add a Block. We're going to search for HTML code. And then we're going to cut and paste the code right into this dialog box. All we'll need to do then is we'll then need to preview. If our box looks the way we want it to look, we can then click Publish. And we'll see the opt-in form here. Welcome back. In addition to having people added to your email marketing list through your form, you can also add them manually. And one of the reasons that you do this is you may have individuals that are already part of an email marketing list from another autoresponder, or you may have met them in person and they've agreed to receive information from you, but you never had them added to a particular autoresponder. What you can do is you can go to this contacts area, and then you can go inside of your list. And then you can go to this button that says Add Contacts. Once you do that, you're going to select the list that you're going to be adding to. And then you can add contacts in one of two ways. You can add them one by one manually. And when you do that, you'll just write the name and email address here in the box as you've confirmed with the individuals. Getresponse will then ask you if you have permission to add the person to your list. Once you confirm that fact, you can then click Add Contact. Getresponse will then say that the contacts is queued for adding. Now you can also add individuals by uploading a CSV file, or you can add them using any external service. To do that, you're going to click inside of this link, and then you will upload the CSV file through this dialog box. And when you do that, you can choose the method in which you're going to add them. For example, you can choose so that you will only add new individuals, meaning that if there are individuals that are already part of the file and they're in your list already, the only persons that will be added are those that are new. Or you can choose to update existing names and email addresses based on the information in the CSV file. You'll then want to click this I have permission, and then you'll want to click Next in order to add the names to your email marketing list. Welcome back. Now if you go inside of your contacts area, you're going to see all of your lists together. And in the top menu, you're going to be given an option to do list hygiene. And you have two choices. One thing that you can do is you can click Blacklist. This allows you to dictate who can and cannot become part of your email marketing list. So once we blacklist someone, we can make this person a global blacklist for all of our lists, or we can keep them from specific lists. Once they become part of our blacklist for our entire account, they will not be able to sign up for any of our email marketing lists. So for example, if we were to come to this page and we were to write in the email address of the individual that had been blacklisted and then click Submit, that individual would still not be added to any of our list. The other thing we can do is we can delete contacts. So we're going to click this button, and we can either delete contacts by hand or we can create a rule. So we are going to choose the list that we want people to be deleted from. We're going to click Apply. And then we're going to enter in the email addresses that we want to delete. And then we'll click delete. And you'll notice then that our total on at least one of the lists has changed. We can also create a rule where if a person gets deleted from one list, we want to make sure that they're also going to be deleted from other lists. And we can do this in this case and then click save. So we now have the rule that if an individual is no longer in one list, they're going to be deleted from a second list. So what we're going to do is we're going to go inside of this list, and then we're going to delete one name. We're going to confirm the deletion. And then that individual is no longer part of our email marketing list. You'll notice that the list hygiene rule deleted the individual from the second list also. Now note, if you're having trouble setting up this system, what you may need to do is you may need to add a third list so that you'll be able then to delete your contacts. Welcome back. Now you can also create suppression lists. So you can send out emails and you can make sure that someone doesn't get that email while at the same time remaining subscribed. And so to do that, you're going to come into your list area. You're going to click Create Suppression List. You're going to write in your suppression list name. And what you can do is you can either upload a CSV file or you can write in the names in this area. Once you do that, you're then going to click Save. Then you'll have a suppression list that you can use whenever you're going to send out email, so the individuals that are part of this list will not get the email. Welcome back. Now in this video, we are going to create broadcast emails. And to do that, we're going to come to our Getresponse dashboard. We're going to start by clicking on email marketing. When we get to email marketing, what we're going to do is we're going to click this button that says Create Newsletters. Creating a newsletter is the same as creating a broadcast email. Now, unless you know HTML, you'll probably use the drag and drop email editor. So we're going to start by clicking this button. We're going to select the list that we're going to be emailing. So we can choose any of the lists that we have, and there will be a point that we will be able to add other individuals from these other lists. But for now, we're going to select a list, and we're going to give our message a name. Now, this message name will not be seen by our subscribers. We'll then write in the subject line that the customer will see. We'll determine our from email. And one thing you'll note is that when you send email, you want to avoid sending using one of the generic cloud-based email services. What you'll probably want to do is to add in a new email address from your self-hosted website. And when we add in that email, we are going to need to confirm that email before we can begin to use it. Once you click the link, that email will then be confirmed and you can then begin using it in your broadcast emails. So in this case, we're going to add in that email, and then we're going to move to the next step. Now we can use any of the pre-designed templates that Getresponse gives us. However, if you want to write an email without additional branding, you can click Start from Scratch. And then you can click a blank template if you don't know that you're going to use a specific format or layout. And then your drag and drop editor will then be ready. And if you're going to write a text email, all you'll need to do is to drag a text block into the canvas. You can then write in your content. You can personalize your content by adding in personalization. And you can use the WYSIWYG editor in order to make the content look the way you want it to look. Once you have your broadcast content looking the way you want, you can then go to the plain text section so that you'll have a plain text option for those who do not receive HTML emails. What you're then going to do is you're going to click this link that says HTML to plain. You're then going to make sure that your spacing is correct. Once you have it looking the way you want, you can then click Close. What you can do then is you can save this content as a draft or template, or you can click this arrow to go to the next step. You're already including one particular list. Now, what you can do is you can decide on which list you're going to have as part of your recipient number. So we're going to choose one of our lists. We can choose any custom filters that we have. And then we can exclude certain individuals from receiving the email. So in this case, what we're going to do is we're going to choose a specific suppression. Once we do that, then our contacts are going to be updated, and we can then click Next Step. Once you get to this stage, you can check your spam score. If it's within range, you can then click Send or Schedule. Now, Getresponse has something that they call perfect timing. And what this will do is this will send an email to the individual at the best possible time based on their time zone. You can turn this off, or you can schedule it for a specific period of time. And you can determine the time zone, or you can send the email right this instant. And so to do that, what you're going to do is click Send. And once you've done that, you will have sent your broadcast email. Now that we have created a newsletter, what we're going to do is we're going to now create what's called an autoresponder, or in other cases, it is called a follow-up email. In order to do that, while you're still within email marketing, you're going to choose this link that says Autoresponders. And what you're going to do is you're going to click this button that says Create Autoresponder. You're going to give your autoresponder a name, which only you are going to see. And this autoresponder that we're creating for this list is going to occur on day 0 as soon as they sign up. So we're going to choose the list that this is going to happen for. We're going to then determine when the message is going to be sent. And typically you are going to have that message sent immediately. However, you can change the terms of that send in this box. You can determine that the email is only going to be sent on certain days. You can determine those days by checking off the specific boxes. And so for this autoresponder, what we're going to do is we're going to create a new email. So we're going to click this link. Now we're going to give this message a name that only we are going to see. Then we're going to write in our email subject line, which our reader is going to see. We're then going to change the from email to an email that is considered to be acceptable for Getresponse. And then we're going to click Next Step. We're then going to determine what kind of email we're going to be sending. If you're going to be using a template, you can do that. In this case, we're going to start from scratch. We're then going to click this blank template in order to write our email. And just as we did with the broadcast email, we're going to drag a text box into the canvas. You'll then have your text box there. And then once your email is complete in the WYSIWYG editor, you can then make sure that it appears correctly as a plain text email. Once we do that, we can then close the dialog box. And then we can click the arrow that leads to the next step. So once we have our email ready, we can then set it up so the subscriber will get this email as soon as they opt into our list. What we can then do is we can create subsequent emails. We can do that by going to Create an Autoresponder. And again, we can give this autoresponder a name. We can scroll down as this email is going to happen on day 1, 24 hours after the first email is sent, and then we can create a new email. We're going to give this message a name, and we're going to give it a subject. And once we've added in the from email, we can then click Next Step. Once you have your content written in HTML as well as the plain text, you can then click Next Step. You then have your subsequent email, which occurs on day 1. And every email that you write thereafter, if you add it to this autoresponder, what's going to happen is it's then going to occur 24 hours after the previous email that you set up. And you'll be able to follow those emails in your autoresponder setting. And if you want to look at all of the emails for a specific list, all you'll need to do is make sure you have that one list highlighted. And that's how you create follow-ups for your autoresponder. Welcome back. Now, Getresponse gives you the ability to create landing pages for your opt-ins. And to get started, you're going to need to go to this area of your menu and click on Landing Pages. And then what you're going to want to do is click Create a Page. Now this is a case where you can either build a page from scratch or you can use one of the existing templates. And so in this case, what we're going to do is we're going to choose one of the existing templates and click Select. Now the first thing you'll need to do is to give your landing page a name. Once you do that, you'll then click Next Step. What you'll then have on your dashboard are going to be the page you're working on. You can create additional pages to attach to this page by clicking this plus button. And then you'll also be able to create thank you pages. You'll also be able to preview your page as to how it's going to look on mobile as well as your desktop. And if you need to look at the HTML code, you can click this HTML button that'll give you access to the source code. And so what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to customize the page according to the way you want to see it. So for example, if you want to see something and you want to look at it differently, all you'll need to do is to click on top of the element. You can then delete or change the components. For example, if we want to change this text, we'll just double click. We can then have our text. We can then center that text. We can then write in our subheadline. And again, you can choose the alignment. You can then work on a particular button. In this case, we'll double click. We'll write something in that is different. And then we will then have our page to look the way that we want. We have other elements on the side. We can add those elements. And we can do it as we see fit. You can see here that we have a video, and this is a case where we're going to change the properties. And to do that, all we'll need to do is double click on top of the element. You'll see here that we can change out the YouTube video that is going to appear here. If you scroll down, you'll see some other elements. In most cases, if you click on top of them, you can delete them if you don't want them. And you can have your page looking exactly the way you want. Now in the next video, we are going to then work with our thank you page. Welcome back. Now that we've created the landing page, we can now create our thank you page. And all we'll need to do is to click this button that says thank you page. And of course, we can further customize this page just as we did before. We can add in video as we did before. Once again, all we'll need to do is to click on top of the element to change it. If we wanted to add in social media, we can do that. All we'll need to do is to make sure that we add the button that we want to have here. We can also add in a button if we want. And we can customize that button. So you have total customization over how you want your thank you page to be. So you can use the existing templates as well as to add elements so that you'll have your page helping you to achieve your marketing goals. Welcome back. Now in this video, we are going to start looking at the Getresponse survey tool. And to use that survey tool, you're going to come to the dashboard and click on Forms and Surveys. And what you're going to do when you come to this page is you're going to click this link that says Manage Surveys. And you'll see, if you don't have any surveys, that you'll be able to click this blue button that says Create Survey. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to give your survey an internal name. You're then going to give your survey a title. And then if you want to write in a description, you can go ahead and do that. And then you can write in an identifier for your survey. Now you can decide on whether or not the survey will require a double opt-in confirmation. In most cases, you're going to make it single opt-in, and then you're going to write in your thank you description. And this is something that your visitors will see, so you want to write this in so that they know what they're about to either receive or participate in as a result of completing the survey. Now those that complete the survey, you'll want to give them a thank you URL. And this is where they'll be redirected once they complete the actual survey. Now if your logo is already on your server, you can place the URL for that logo in this dialog box. Once you have all your information there, you can then click Next Step. Now once you reach the survey creation tool, you'll have several different kinds of questions that you can add to a particular page. And you're going to start with page 1. And so you can add questions into page 1, and then you can begin to customize those questions. For example, all you'll need to do is to go to this edit field, and then you can begin to customize your question. Now each question has specific properties. So for example, you can make certain fields required. You can choose custom fields also. So once you've completed the question as you want it, you can then click Save. What you can then do is you can add in other pages. So you can click this button, and then you can begin to customize another page with another kind of question. And all you'll need to do is to drag that question over to your survey box. You'll then need to click the edit box, and then you'll be able to customize this question. Once you've done that, you can then click Save. What we're going to do is we're going to stop the video right here, and we're going to pick it up in the next video so that you can see how to use text boxes as well as to deploy your survey. Welcome back. Now you can also deploy survey questions that require your visitor to enter text. So for example, if we were to create a new page and we were to write in this single line text question. So we can write our question. In this case, we're going to make this field required, and then we're going to click Save. Now that closes our survey and brings us back to the outside, although the survey has not been published. So to continue, we're going to click on this link. That's going to reopen our survey. And what we're going to do now is we're going to add in another page, and then we're going to add in the paragraph text. And again, all we'll need to do is to edit or write out our question. In this case, we're not going to make this field required. And then we're going to save our question. We're now going to add in one more page, and then we're going to add in our subscription form. In this case, we're going to edit, and we're going to write in to this box. Once you do that, you'll determine what list they'll be entered in, and then you can click Save. Once you've done that, you can then save and publish your survey. Getresponse will then give you a link, and you can then test your survey. And you'll be able to see how your survey is going to look once someone actually visits. And of course, we'll then get to the end, and then we can then enter our name and email address. And that is how you'll test and deploy your survey. Welcome back. Now, Getresponse will allow you to use email messages from other accounts as well as from other lists. And to do that, you're going to use the preload feature, which you can find inside of the email marketing dashboard. If you look all the way to the right, you'll see a link that says preload messages. And you're going to have a couple of choices. So what you can do is you can choose the source list. And if you have messages from this list, you can use them inside of another list. And all you'll need to do is to find the list where you have those emails. You'll need to choose the message type. So if you have autoresponder messages or if you have newsletters, you'll want to choose them. You'll then want to take these two emails, and then what you can do is you can copy them to another list. So for example, what we can do is we can change this list, and we can make it so that these emails are going to be for newsletter drafts. And so what we're going to do is we're going to copy the selected emails to a new destination list. We're going to save them. And then our list now has two new newsletter drafts. And if we go to our drafts, you'll see our list and you'll see these emails now available in this area. What we can also do is we can bring messages from another account. What you'll need from the other account is you'll need to know the account name, the account password, and then you'll need to log in through this link. Once you've logged into the second account, all you'll need to do is to select the messages from the specific list from within that account, and then you can copy those messages into the list that you want for the account that you're working in. So your messages will then be copied over. Welcome back. Now, Getresponse does give you statistics or analytics for all of your sent emails. And if you're still inside of the email marketing dashboard, what you'll want to do is to go to the right, and you'll see a link here that says statistics. You'll want to click that link. You'll be able to use this section to analyze your lists over time. You'll also be able to analyze individual lists. When you analyze those individual lists, you'll be able to analyze individual messages and then compare their performance with other messages individually. When you send your emails, you'll be able to note how many people opened the email, how many people clicked, and how many people reached your analytic goals. Now, if you come to this point and you're looking at your statistics and you're trying to email a certain segment of people that have taken an action, you can do that. So for example, if we were to only email those that have opened our email, all we would need to do is to click this link that says email group. Getresponse will then give us a message asking us if we want to create messages specifically for this saved search. And you'll see then that we'll then be taken to the Create Newsletter section. We can also analyze the performance of our autoresponder messages, as well as to email specific segments of those individuals that receive our autoresponders. You'll be able to note in this section who is opening your email if you choose the email clients link. And if you want to have certain reports sent to you by email, you can do that in the Manage Reports section. Welcome back. Now, Getresponse does a number of integrations with other cloud-based services and third-party systems. And you can find those integrations by going to this area that says Integrations and API. And you'll be able to see those integrations on this page. Now, if you have additional integrations, you may have them with your third-party application. However, they will go through the API. They will access your Getresponse account in this way. For example, if you would use the Warrior Plus system, and this integration will use the API. And you'll see that as the case with Warrior Plus, what you'll need is an API key from inside of Getresponse in order to have Warrior Plus talk to your Getresponse account. So if your integration is not present inside of Getresponse, you will need then to check with your third-party system so that you can find out if the system uses the API in order to integrate with Getresponse. Welcome back. Now, if you opted for the Pro version, you'll note that you have access to the webinar system. And you'll see it on the main dashboard. You'll click inside of this link. If you haven't yet done a webinar, you'll scroll down and click Create Your First Webinar. You'll then give your webinar a name, and then you'll give your webinar a specific starting time. You can state that registration is required, and then you can click Save and Send Invitation. Now, because it's integrated with your autoresponder, you can then tie it right into a broadcast email. Once you have all your information in, you can then click Next Step. You can then either use a template or just start from scratch. We'll use a blank template. We're then going to use our text block. And once you've written in your text, what you're going to want to do is to make sure you have your webinar link inside. And then you're going to want to make sure that you hyperlink that webinar link. And then you'll want to go to the next step. You'll determine your recipients, and then you'll click Next Step. And once you're ready, you'll then hit Send. You'll then want to test your webinar registration by cutting and pasting the URL. You'll then want to make sure that this registration works, and then you'll just confirm that your registration works correctly. Then you'll want to come back to the Manage Webinar screen. You'll then click Join as a Presenter. You'll then be inside of the waiting room. You can then click Start Event Now, and then you'll be available in order to do a webinar for the individuals that have signed up. In conclusion, now that you have the foundation of being able to work with creating lists, creating autoresponder and broadcast messages, landing pages, webinars, as well as surveys, you're now ready to use the most powerful feature of Getresponse, and that is automation. Automation in Getresponse is basically managing your workflows as well as your messages, and ties together all of the features so that individuals get the right message at the right time based on actions that they take. It uses conditions, actions, and filters inside of a workflow, which is basically a canvas that allows you to drag and drop elements into a system that you can see visibly. And so to start your first workflow, all you need to do is to click this blue button that'll take you to the workflow page, and you'll be able to then take all of the elements that we talked about in this course to put them together in an automation sequence.